It feels so much more official when we're recording in progress.
For
Um,
sure.
okay, people, hello. Welcome back. Today, we're having our first talk, technically under the flag 6 PMers Unfiltered. In 2020, I did something under the word Real Talk. We had, I think, 23 episodes. So we're going to start this back up, these great conversations. Pretty much everybody will not be an agent. So the idea behind this is having these sort of unfiltered conversations that are not really relating to real estate directly, but more about marketing or design or video
Mhm.
or content like today. And so there's all these great topics out there that we go to events and we kind of say to ourselves, oh, I wish I could have a talk with that person, more intimately. And so that's kind of the idea. So I used to go to probably something like 5 to 8 events every month of some kind locally in Seattle. Those events really aren't around anymore. So occasionally we'll get out to things and have some great conversations. And over the years, building up all these great relationships with people that you meet, it's like you want to keep that conversation going, but we don't know how and to keep it going. So hence why we started this. So 6pmers.co /events. If you guys for the first time, you'll always find the event links there every month. And then there'll be potential recording links for members and whatnot that'll be going out as we continue to go. So this has been a lot of fun getting to this point. March will actually be 4 years that this group has been together in some capacity. So it all started out as this just little happy hour, and pretty soon it just kind of kept evolving, and here we are. So today is January 30th. That's crazy. Terry Carter out of Nashville with Compass put a really funny post out yesterday. He says the great thing about January is you get to see all 31 days of it. And it feels like it's been, I mean, I can't believe it. It feels like
Weather-wise,
it's January 45th. Is that right?
it might be actually.
So, all right, I'll stop talking. Today, I want to introduce a friend of mine, Stephen H. Jones, who I've known for probably almost 15 years. This is crazy. We were
Has it
both
been that?
23 at the time.
I think
Perfect.
so.
I literally think I was probably like 28, 29 when we met, something like that.
Wow.
It's been a while.
I got old.
Seattle. And then he's been doing a variety of things for what, probably a better part of 20 years within
Yeah.
many different media spaces. I'll let you kind of do an intro about sort of what your company does, what you're doing now, and we'll go from there. How's that?
Yeah, that totally works. Um, well, I'll tell you. So, real quick, the company name is Rain City Creative. It's kind of a nod to Seattle, but it's REIGN, Rain City Creative. Real quick, when I started this company, I asked, golly, probably like 30 business owners, like, what do you struggle with? What's the issue? 100% said content. Just 100% said content. That could be blogs for their website. That could be videos for YouTube. That could be content for social media. It could be content for email campaigns. It was just content. So I started this company in 2017, really to be around content, to provide a solution. So, and it's been awesome ever since. So content always changes. I'm looking forward to this conversation. This will be fun.
And Stephen and I legitimately will have these like 2 hour conversations about anything related to marketing content. That's an
Hmm.
ongoing conversation. So I just said, well,
Probably
hey, why don't we do this?
bores to tears the people near us, but you and I, it's engaging.
This is too easy for that. For those of you that don't know, Seattle is called Rain City because we get a lot of rain. Got it? So that when he came up with this name, I was like, oh boy, okay, here goes. And then he was in
Hmm.
Seattle at the time. Now he's based out of Nashville. So
Hmm.
actually, when I was in Nashville, for anybody who was there, we hung out for a while. A lot of great fun over there. I can't wait to eat more food. I've already lost 3 pounds since I've been home because I've been going to the
But
gym and not eating queso on top of everything or gravy on top of everything.
but you gained 6 pounds while you were here.
I think so, something like that. So
Mm.
I think we were talking about, we could have this 2 hour conversation, but we want to keep it to maybe 30, 40 minutes. Anybody who wants to put questions, use the Q&A or the chat. I'll be looking at both of those. So those messages will come to us, and just throw those up there whenever you want. And then we will just kind of filter them and we'll try to answer them as we go in the conversation. And at the end, we'll make sure to have some things there. So we're going to slowly open up this box that is always fun. So why don't I do this? Let's go down the road of just straight up from your point of view, what do you see is kind of the big trending thing right now for the next 6 months that people need to be doing? And you and I already know the answer to that, but go ahead, down your road.
It's a couple of different things. One of them is engagement. The platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter, they're all looking for engagement from posts. So, there's a few things that you need to do to create engagement in your post, but that's critical. That's what every platform wants. Another is video, and I want to dig a little bit deeper into video, and I know that we will, is not everybody's comfortable with video. Actually, I would take that back. Most people are not comfortable with video, so we'll dig into that a little bit. But how you can do video even if you're uncomfortable. So I would say engagement, video. One of the things we've talked about is relevancy. A lot of people will think of social media as being kind of promotional, and that's just anti-social media. You really want to have information and content in your social media that's relevant. So if it's Tuesday and it's rainy and you're in Minneapolis, that's something you can talk about. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, that's something you can work into your content. Just being relevant in the moment and things like that, because relevancy is always changing. So those are at least a few things.
And like something I always like to tell people, one of my slides I have in one of my presentations has a big present, like a gift wrap, and I say, be more present. Because I think a lot of people are forgetting that there's all this great content around them when they're in a meeting or going to a house or visiting a great restaurant. And I think a lot of them just lack, a lot of people just lack the ability to think about that high level content where like, well, if I just take this picture and a quick video, like no one's going to watch it or it wasn't really good. I'm like, well, you got to remember that it's all part of a huge, larger scale thing where if you continue to do this and like, what are these conversations that you're having with your clients about this type of thing?
So around that, just the point of, I feel like a lot of the business owners and the agents that I talk with, they think about their social media post as being the one they're going to do for that week, or maybe the one they're going to do for that day. But to your point, there's just so many things that happen in your day that would be interesting to your audience. I mean, if you think about it, you're on your way to a listing, you're on your way to an appointment, you just had a really good meeting, you're on your way to do something more social, you're on your way to an event or whatever. There's just 100 things that happen that you could potentially capture just a little micro story of, and it could be video. And if you don't love video, you could take a picture of it. So one of the many things that I really want you to understand is, when you're thinking about your media, it's not the one for the day, or the one for the week. It's just that micro moment where you want to share something with your audience. You could be on your way getting some coffee, or just got coffee, or just came from a great meeting, or had an epiphany. You could be in your car and, oh my God, I had an epiphany about something that, made me think of whatever. That's something you could capture. And again, it could be a picture or a video. There's a lot of things that you could communicate throughout the day. And again, one of the things I want to make sure that you're aware of, that everybody's aware of, it's not about you. It's always about your audience. Your audience wants to get to know you. It's your personal brand. I'm not going to buy, a home from you, if we're talking about agents. I'm not going to buy a home from you because of necessarily the brokerage you're with. I'm going to buy from you because of your personality, and if we connect. And if I don't know your personality, we will never connect. So there's just, and Julian's a great example of this. Just throughout your day, there's things that he does that communicates his personality and his interest. It could be golf. God forbid, it could be Dodgers football, or Dodgers ball.
You're fired.
It could it could be whatever your personal interest is. So that's what a lot of we capture for our clients.
I think like the personality piece sometimes is difficult. Awesome. Okay, the chat works, by the way. For anybody who wants to use the chat, I had to press a button to enable it. So it now works if you were trying to do chat for questions.
Throw in your questions.
Anytime. going down the road, like what you were just saying, that the personality piece. So in some presentations that you do and I've done, we'll put some slides or a couple examples to people saying, okay, here's this person's personality, and this person's like very proper, they're always dressed up. I have some friends that always wear suits. You will never see me in a suit. I'll be in a jacket, with a t-shirt or something. That's just my vibe. I have a coffee in a lot of my videos. For those of you that don't think about that, follow it next time. But I do that on purpose. It's a very Seattle thing. And for some
Hmm.
people, they might have dogs. So I have a friend of mine. She has two white dogs. She's in New York City. You might know who she is. She told me, Julian, I want to incorporate these dogs somehow. And I'm like, okay, think about that. And she goes, well, how much do she goes to the dog park every day. She helps with her local humane society, on and on and on. And she kept asking, how can I do better video or better content? And for you, I mean, this is a great example of just storyboarding with someone like that and saying, well, okay, you know, what can we do? Now you work. One reason I invited Stephen on this because I said he works with people in many different verticals, not just real estate. So maybe you want to provide a couple like examples or case studies, like some people you've worked with that you took from zero to pretty awesome.
Hmm. And by the way, like the value of working across different industries has been pretty cool because there are things that are commonplace in marketing in real estate that are completely brand new in other industries and vice versa. So, and really interesting to see what's common in one industry, bring that idea into, say, the real estate system. It's like a brand new epiphany. So, things like that I love. I'll tell you, kind of as a global thing that's been incredibly helpful is we will capture agents, we will capture business owners remotely talking through different topics. So that has been incredibly beneficial for people that are camera shy to do something like this, where they hold up their phone and then they're capturing video this way. So doing something like that has been really helpful too, because I don't know, there's a little bit of a psychological difference sometimes when you're remote, but we'll capture a video of someone talking through different topics or why they're great at what they do or why they're unique at what they do. Why I would want to go with you. I mean, there's a lot of agents out there. Why would I want to go with you? Why would I want to go with your company? And just capturing that that story, that personality, that character of who you are, and then clipping that up and then sharing that via social media. That's been huge. Um, I tell you, Julian, like every single person that we have done this for, it's been incredible because when you talk for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes on something you're passionate about, either personally or professionally, that really comes out. I could talk about content marketing all day long. I could talk about Atlanta Braves baseball all day long, and it's really going to come out. I'm trying to get that dig about the Dodgers again. It's really going to come out. So when you can share that on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and TikTok and everything else, people start to connect with you. That's why people love reality TV shows. That's why people watch TV and streaming shows about people in the show. They want to connect. And I would imagine for every single person that's listening to this, you have a very unique personality because everybody does. And that's what your audience wants. Like your audience wants you. So there's a lot of ways and there's a lot of reasons why you should put that forward and promote yourself through social media because people want to get to know you. And again, people are going to buy from you personally, not necessarily your the brokerage company you're with. So I don't know if that was the answer to your question or not, but
No,
um,
there's no right
go
answer,
ahead.
as you and I both know. The 3 hour
Pretty
conversation
much.
has no right answer. Um,
Yeah.
well, let's break it down a little bit, like you and I were talking.
Yep.
For a lot of people on this call, they might not use something like LinkedIn very much, or they might only be on one platform, for example. What's your advice to people in terms of, content across different platforms? Do you feel like it needs to be similar, the same? Would you use one thing to just go all the way out? Like, what would you say?
So I'll say two things in that regard. Number one, are very different. When you think about when you are on TikTok or Instagram, like you're looking for entertainment, you're looking for fun, you're looking for funny, you're looking for interesting, and you're still you, but then you jump over to LinkedIn at some point, and then your brain shifts a little bit, and now you're thinking about more professional, more instructional, educational, things like that. So, point number one, it does need to be a little bit different for the different platforms. A lot of what we'll do is we can take one clip, let's say there's a 3-minute clip of you talking about something, and turn that into a 45-second clip. The text that you put in the description on LinkedIn will be different than TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. It can still be the same video, but what we say about the video will be different across the different platforms. And that's just as, if you think about it, again, when you're on Facebook, you have a little bit different mindset than when you're on LinkedIn. When you're on TikTok, you have a little bit different mindset than, say, if you're on Twitter. So we want to capture that. But the other thing is too, I feel like a lot of people are super busy. So it's like, well, dear God, I don't want to create a LinkedIn piece and a Twitter piece and an Instagram piece and a Facebook piece and a TikTok piece. That's just too much. So what you can do is take the one piece. It could be a photo, it could be a picture, it could be a carousel of pictures, it could be a video, and then tweaking the wording in the text can be the big adjustment there.
I think a lot of people get lost on this because it's kind of like the Groupon philosophy. If everybody remembers Groupon, where, you're giving somebody a great deal, but those are shoppers. They're only looking for a great deal, pretty much. They're never going to be loyal to almost anything. So that's a different mentality. Then you take somebody who's going and flipping through things on TikTok versus a person on LinkedIn. A while back, we figured out that the people on LinkedIn, typically it's mostly professionals. People are there for a little bit different reason.
Yeah, 100%.
I've got a question here. So let's see. Deb is talking about themes. Did you see that one?
I missed that one.
So she says maybe coming up with a few themes, she said, or what clients are working with us or what they're known for, and maybe focusing on that, showing a bit more of that on a regular basis. What would you say about that?
Themes meaning like topic themes?
I think so.
I do. So a lot of our clients will do kind of a Monday thing for well, it depends on the industry, but so like we do like the theme because you can do different topics around a Monday, topics around a Friday or whatever, or you could do 4 posts in a row around a certain theme. The good thing with that, earlier we were talking about engagement. People that are following you, if you are doing a theme thing and you're saying, you know what, post number one is, hey, there's 4 things I want to talk to you about. This is Monday and blah, blah. Here's the first thing. Many people will tune back in and look for your post for Tuesday. What's the second thing of the 4 that you're going to talk about? So then on today you say, you know what, this is Tuesday. Yesterday I talked about this. Today it's that. Check in tomorrow and I'm going to show you the third thing. So that brings you back to engagement. So people will want to check in with you on those theme topics. So I'm a big fan of that. It's one little piece of the puzzle that you can do to bring people back and really build up a little bit of anticipation. Hey, what's he going to talk about on Friday? You've got your Friday 5. What's Julian going to talk about for his Friday 5 this upcoming Friday? Let me, I'm going to check in and see. So it's the same thing.
And I feel like, people are getting a little bit more accustomed to having, something that posts more often. The algorithm will actually like it. A lot of people don't know this, where if you are typically posting on the same 3 days of the week or about the same group of people. I was telling someone the other day, I noticed that when I was in Nashville, we went out to see some great music and I was using some different hashtags and the content was about music, not about real estate. And this happened a couple of times to me before where I posted something not about real estate, not about marketing, and I got so few hits on it. It was interesting. And talking with some other people, it really likes, the algorithm notices that you're posting certain things for certain people. I mean, what have you heard on this topic?
I love that topic. I literally had that conversation today with a client. The question was, they're in the home remodel space. So should I just talk about home remodel? Should I just talk about equipment and materials and our crew and our staff and things like that? As a person, as an individual, communicating their brand and their business, the answer is no. Like, there are so many things that would draw me to you, that you could and should and would want to talk about. So you do want to talk about other things that are of interest to you. So if you're really big into golf and a lot of your content is around real estate, do some posts around golf. If you love reading and you have a sunroom, show people your favorite book that you're reading that's not even about real estate. People, and again, we'll talk about it probably again. People want to know you. They want to connect with you, the person. So sharing and talking about things that are not necessarily about your personal, professional life, is going to be great. So I'm 100% on board for talking about other things that you're interested in. And it's going to be authentically interested. Don't be fake interested in golf because you think that's going to be good for you. So talk about things you're legitimately interested in. If you collect stamps, you can talk about that. So
Going back to, authenticity is king,
mhm.
for any of this. I think I have a slide that says that, and there's a little king thing on it because I think,
Little
or queen,
crown.
either way, but it's paramount. It's one of those things that
Mhm.
if you're doing some content, it doesn't feel right, like you're just like, or you're not having a great day and you're trying to do some video. It's okay to not do it that day. It's not like one of those things where, I meet a lot of lenders, and for those of you who know, a lot of lenders, it's a different personality than a real estate agent for the most part. You're going to find some people that are similar, but they're a numbers game, like in a different way than the agents are. And I've got to make my calls no matter what, this and that. I'm like, yeah, but it's really difficult to make video days that you just do not feel like doing it because you might not look the right part. It'll show the authenticity piece. So that's one reason, the best thing to do is to batch this. I was going to lead you into this. Do you want to talk about sort of how you're doing this with some clients, and some cool things that's coming out of that with like online?
I do, in relation to video. Yes, so there's a lot here. So um, definitely take note because I think this will be really helpful. Let me start with people that are uncomfortable. Throw something in the chat if you are uncomfortable with video. I'm just kind of just out of curiosity's sake. If you don't love video, if you're a little bit uncomfortable with it, let us know because I'm kind of curious on that. So number one, if you're uncomfortable with video, yes. If you're uncomfortable with video, let's talk about that for a few different things. You can still take your phone, and show video with you not in it. So this is one thing that you can show video, you can show property, you can show yourself walking down the street. I'm sorry, show yourself walking down the street. You can show the camera facing the other way. You cannot be in the video, and that's one potential solution for you. Another potential solution that we do is we'll do remote. So something like this. Let's say I really didn't like doing video where I'm on my phone. Doing a situation where I'm talking with Julian, talking with somebody, and we're on Zoom. This can be captured and clipped up, and then now you have video talking about certain topics. So remote capture is really helpful for a lot of people. Another solution, there's at least two more I can think of. There's another solution is going with somebody. So maybe you have somebody grab your phone and you guys do a walk and talk, and that person is, at a showing with you or out and about, and they're recording you and you and your friends, and you're just kind of talking. That's a great thing you can do. And again, this is just for people that are not comfortable with it, which I think is a lot of people. Another is to like get help. There's services. I know Julian has a service, where you can have someone help you professionally get video. Like they come in and they help you do video. So that's like a potential thing you can do to capture video. So for people that don't love video, there's a few ideas there. Other things you can do are pictures. If you're a good writer, if you're better at writing, you can take a picture of something and then write a really careful, thoughtful, intuitive paragraph or two, and that's an Instagram post. That could be a LinkedIn post. That could be a Facebook post because you're a good writer, and it could be a photo. Audio is another thing. You can capture audio on your phone and you're not even in it, and you can talk through something. You can jump into Canva. I don't know if everybody has Canva or not, but it's free to a certain level, but you can have Canva for free. You can upload an audio file, create a little graphic in Canva, and then add the audio file to that. And then now it plays your audio as a social media post. So audio is huge. Imagery, pictures is huge. Video is ideal. But again, if you don't love video and you don't like to be in video, there's a lot of things you can do around that. But the main thing is, regardless of where you're at, like, do something. Your audience really wants to hear from you. They need to hear from you. They should hear from you every day. With our clients, we generally do 2 posts a day. We'll do a morning post and an afternoon post. Sometimes we'll do 3 posts a day because that's better for the algorithm. But regardless of the algorithm, your audience wants to get to know you. And if you think about all the things that happen to you throughout the day, just a normal, typical, what is this, Tuesday? Tuesday.
Pick a day, any day.
Yeah, pick a day. It's a Tuesday in January. Think about all the little things that happen to you throughout your day, that a little micro moment of that would be interesting for your audience. Maybe you had a good conversation, or you had a thought, or you're headed to something, or you just came back from something, or you just tried something new at your local coffee shop. Who cares? It's part of your personality. Those little micro moments are great. So
Because
you could be
there's
picture,
so many
audio,
little
video.
pieces. Sorry about that.
No,
But like, I think a lot of people say, so I did a poll really quick. I don't know if you saw this, Steven.
I
So I
did.
asked people every time we do these events, I always like to ask people a few questions, but it looks like not very many people are posting all that much in who's on
Mm-hmm.
this call today, which is pretty typical. I think a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
underestimate. And then what happens is people say to themselves, I'm not as good as the top 1% person that posts all the time. So I'm not going to post at all because my stuff's not as good. Well, number one, forget about that thought. You're obviously very good at what you do, and you're very good for your people, and they love you. So I thought one thing you just said that was really great that I think people need to hear again is your audience needs to hear from you. They actually
Mm-hmm.
really do want to hear from you. I think a lot of people forget that there's a couple little things that you might say that they really enjoy. I was fortunate to connect with a lot of my clients before the holidays, and a couple of them were like, we really love your newsletters. And I was like, that was a huge compliment. I go, what do you like about them? And they shared a little bit. So you never know. They need to hear from you. And the people that want to hear from you will like to hear from you. There's always going to be some people that, just that's not their thing. I send videos out a lot through the Compass platform and through BombBomb. And, the play rate is not as high as the newsletter rate, but the people that actually watch those videos, they really like them. So you got to just keep sending them.
And one other thing too, Julian, like, if I'm a buyer, or if I'm a seller and I know of you, and I know your name, if we saw each other in person, I'd shake hand and be like, hey, how you doing? But I'm getting really interesting content on TikTok or Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook from a certain particular agent regularly. I'm going to start to build a little bit of a relationship with that person. I'll be like, oh yeah, that person's, they really are into stamp collecting. I'm into stamp collecting. This person, they really know Bellevue, and I want to maybe move to Bellevue. There's a Bellevue, Washington, and a Bellevue, Tennessee. So you're allowing people that should be your clients to be taken away by someone else because they're building a relationship with that person through social media, which is where everybody is on. So that's just a detriment to you if you let those relationships get away because you're not posting enough. And I'll tell you, I've had this conversation more than several times. People don't post often, video or otherwise, because they're insecure. They're insecure of how they're gonna sound or how they're gonna feel or what other people are gonna say about that, or that video wasn't very good. I didn't like that what you were wearing. It didn't sound very good, it didn't look very good, or whatever. That's the number one reason people don't post regularly is because of insecurity. And I'm telling you, and I hope it doesn't fall on deaf ears, it doesn't matter.
Just be
Your
you.
worst video is better than not doing a video, and your worst photo is better than not doing a photo. And the first one is always going to be worst anyway. So do one, then do two, then do three, then do four, then you're doing 50. And it always starts with one. So I just really wanted to, and I feel like that's a thing for a lot of people, whether you like to talk or not, or whether you like video or not, it's always around just the insecurity of what other people are going to think about what you post.
Let me use some people who are in here today. My friend Erin is in here. Hey, Erin. Erin works in a couple different markets. She has great background in both these places. If you talk to Erin for 5 minutes, you'll be dizzy. Our great conversations we have, we both talk fast. But I mean, I would just do some videos. It's super fun. I know, super LOL. Tracy, what used to be, I think, an attorney, there's so much knowledge there. I can't imagine, all that. And then talking with Joe. Joe's been doing some fun little video facts, but I also think, Joe, you could expand on some of those things, what you've been talking about. So I think there's a lot of subject matter there. Even me, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with some people, they don't get it. There'll be days that I just don't feel like doing video, and that's fine. But when I do, and this might be a tip for you all. I'll be on my way out to dinner, let's say, and I'm leaving at 5:30. And at 5 o'clock, I feel good. I have lots of energy. I'm kind of done with what I need to do for the day. I'll go into my office or I'll go outside or whatever, and I'll shoot 5 videos because I'm in the moment. But I'm not going to shoot one. I'll shoot five. I'll shoot enough that I can go back later, and I batched it. So if you're
Mhm.
just running short on time, or you're having a good day, you love the outfit you're wearing, you feel like you're on top of your game, you just got done with a great housing tour. I just looked at 3 houses an hour ago, and there's some really good content there. But those are some times that you should just jump on it and just go for it, and put yourself, do the best you can on lighting and things like that. But don't overjudge it. Get it done. What
Absolutely.
Okay, so Joe asked a question I thought was really good. If you were to rank platforms that you would post content or video on, and not including like a blog or a website, but like social, what would be,
Social media
maybe your
platforms.
top three or four?
What the industry?
What's
Real
that?
estate?
Real estate.
What's the industry? Real estate? Honestly, TikTok. I would start with TikTok. I would say ranking wise, TikTok number one, Instagram number two, Facebook number three, LinkedIn number four, Twitter for sure, still number five. Um, because there is more content that the platform, say for instance on TikTok, needs more content than is being digested. So if you, and actually, I'm going to circle back to a point here in a minute. If you put something out there for the very first time, you might get incredibly high views on that platform because there's so much content being absorbed, and there's more demand. It always goes back to supply and demand. There's more demand than supply right now on TikTok. Um, I want to talk about the interest graph was the social graph. When we grew up in social media, um, it was around the social graph. You friended somebody, and then now you see their post, and you friended somebody, now you see their post. That was the social graph. That's changed in the last few years with TikTok, actually. It's more on the interest graph. You can have 0 followers. Nobody follows you but your mom, and you could start posting about real estate, your neighborhood, businesses in your neighborhood, the market, the interest rate, all these different things. And now on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn recently, and Twitter, it's they're going to start positioning that piece of content in front of the audience that is interested in that topic. This is huge. I don't think people realize this. Do you remember, Julian, like it was several months ago, for a while, you would get on Facebook, you would get a suggested post. Remember when it said suggested?
Yep.
That meant they were making the transition from, hey, we think this is something you might be interested in. Now it doesn't say suggested or just gives you that content. So if the platform, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, knows that you're interested in golf, they are going to start putting golf related posts in front of you. That's huge. If I'm in California and I'm looking at properties in Seattle, Washington, Facebook knows that. All the platforms know that. So if you are putting content out there about, hey, what we have available in Seattle, if you're moving from California, if you're moving from the Bay Area, if you're moving from LA, this neighborhood is going to be similar to that neighborhood. God, you could do that all day long. This community is pretty similar to that community. You can start posting things like that all day long. You don't have to pay for ads to put that in front of that audience. The platform is now going to put your organic post in front of that audience because I've determined that's my interest. And that's a big deal. And by the way, one of the things I want to make sure everybody remembers is social media is free. You remember when you needed to put an ad out there, or if you were going to get your message in front of somebody, you always had to pay. Social media is free. So use it. If you're not overusing social media for your business, you're absolutely missing the boat because Facebook is not charging you to do a post. If you're going to leave this call right now and then jump on LinkedIn and do a post, you're not going to get a bill from LinkedIn. So this is free advertising for you. So it's something to use.
How about this? Everybody on the call, first of all, if you are able to type in the chat, who thinks that if we challenge you to post 3 videos within the next week, that you could do that? Go. If you think you can do that, say yes, because we're going to start with that. There's a lot more to it. But here's another thing. The video is going to do a lot better than a single picture usually, unless it's about cats or moms. That's always going to be, and believe it or not, the cat videos and the mom videos, there's a reason why those do so well, but it truly is a thing. I will try cats. Yes, whatever works. So,
and by the way, the video can be, you don't have to be in the video. You could be facing the camera the other way and you're talking and you're showing something. So keep that in mind too.
And there's some easy ways to edit things online or on your mobile to add audio. Here's just a quick ask. How many people here know how to add audio to a video? And it's okay if you don't, because we want to get a good idea. Because I think this is one of those things. Help me. We've got something for you, by the way. I want you to really quick, Stephen, because we mentioned this. Will you give kind of a beginning to end? Like, let's say you work with a client, because you were telling me this yesterday. Someone who comes to you and they say, "We need help me," and then what you do for them and sort of what that process looks like. Because I think a lot of people sort of want to hear that a little bit. I think that linear side really helps.
Absolutely. I'll tell you, we the need for what we do started before COVID, but it got exacerbated in COVID. It was people wanting to communicate and talk through topics and talk through their expertise, but captured via Zoom. I feel like before people just weren't as comfortable maybe on Zoom, but now Zoom is just part of your life. You eat and you drink and you are on Zoom.
My friends got married on Google Chat, literally Google Meet. I was so
no
bummed
way,
out.
did
I would have been in his line, but they got married online. So on Zoom, that happened.
That's awesome. And it's different, but it's becoming a little bit more normal. So anyway, we started basically working with agents, working with clients where we capture you remotely. So it's almost a situation exactly like this. If Julian, you were a client, we would say, "Hey, Julian, let's make sure we talk through about 5 different topics that you want to cover. What's happening in the marketplace? This is January, so this is winter. We're heading into spring. What's some things you want to talk about for the end of winter going into spring? for a buyer, for a seller, for the interest rate. I think the Fed is going to be making a decision soon, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. There's just 1,000 things to talk about. Let's just talk about 5 to 7 of them. And what we would do is we would capture that remotely like this. We use StreamYard, we use Zoom, is another platform we use. So it depends on if it's just you and I talking. And by the way, I don't need to be in it. I never need to be in it. So sometimes it's just you. We're capturing you talking. But if it's you and a colleague, we'll capture the two of you guys talking, and the colleague could be in his office, you could be at home. Sometimes we'll do an interview. Someone's asking you questions and you're answering the questions. But we'll clip up those topics into, gosh, sometimes 20 different pieces of clip material. It'll be branded to you, subtitled, and now 20 video clips of you talking about, 5 to 7 different things. Because we'll grab little nuggets and things like that. And then, by the way, that's not just good for social media. If you're not devouring YouTube, I mean, you need to be all over YouTube as an agent. People do searches online, best neighborhoods to be in Minneapolis. Well, you need to have a video. If you're in Minneapolis, you have a video on why you need to be in this neighborhood, the great things about my neighborhood, and those need to be all over YouTube. So we'll put those clips on YouTube. We'll put them on social media. They're available for you for an email campaign. So if you've got an email campaign that goes out, maybe there's a great little nugget of you talking about something really great. Boom, that goes into your email campaign. So go on your website. We'll also transcribe everything that we record, and we'll turn those transcriptions into blogs. So now you have a blog on your website with a little video clip on top of it around whatever. There's 100 things to talk about. So we can take, and I love this because everybody's busy. We can take 20 minutes of you per month, sometimes every 6 weeks even, but 20 minutes of you, and we've got content for you for a month or more. Because we can take something you said, take that text, make that a social media post, drop it in with a picture, and there's a social media post. We could take a sentence of what you said, that big social media post by itself. We can take a screenshot of the video of you talking, and that becomes a social media post. We repurpose your 20 minutes of just you, and make that social media content. Then obviously, the clip itself is great content as well. But there's 3 things that I feel like in that regard that you want to think about. Number 1 is just you talking. You're the thought leader. You're the expert. Talk to me about what I need to know as a potential client of yours is number 1. Number 2, who's somebody that you could be having an interesting conversation with? Maybe it's a client. Maybe it's a vendor. Maybe it's your mortgage person. Maybe the 2 of you guys could be captured remotely talking about kinds of different things. And then interview is like the 3rd, but another is really like 3 people in a room, and we have a platform for that too. And it could be you and 2 other people talking about your neighborhood, talking about golf. We could talk about whatever. So
a lot of golf
we
going
capture a lot of golf going on today. But that makes for really good content, and that's easy. So you're at home, you're in your office, you're in your car, and we can capture content like that. So it's fun.
I think the word for today, thank you for sharing all that, by the way. I think the word for today, for a lot of people who are still in the call, repurpose. I think I'm going to geek out with you for a second here, but here's an example of how Stephen and I think when we're talking about content. So when someone says to either of us, hey, I've got this great idea. I want to do a video of my community, and I want to show, whatever they might share. And I think that'd be super cool. I'm like, that could be 10 videos. And as soon as I say that to someone, they're like, oh my, that's way too much. I don't think I could do all that. I go, no. That's all from that one thing. So let's say you did a 90-second clip, because that's actually the new limit for Reels. For those of you using Instagram, Reels could only be 60 seconds till recently. So now it can be 90 seconds. I personally love that because you have enough time to tell a story. In 60 seconds, you're going to lose 8 to 10 seconds saying hi and bye and a couple transitions. So you really have about 40 seconds. But that minute and a half, I think it changes the game a little bit. So from a minute and a half, you could make a video right here. Let's just say Of course, we could post it across 3 different platforms, let's just say, but maybe we clip it differently for a shorter one. And then I'm working actually on the podcast that's going to launch pretty soon. I'm going to throw this into Descript, very cool platform. Descript can take that and then transcribe it. Now I have the written version. Then I can take that, add the picture and the video onto a blog post, like Steven does this for his clients. And it's pretty amazing, right? The fact that you can just keep repurposing this and come back later in the 2 months and go with Throwback Thursday or something, you know?
And it's, you can make evergreen content. There's things that you could talk about today in January of 2024 that are still very relevant, December of 2025. So, someone that saw your post or didn't see your post in January of 2024, that's something you can use again later. And they may never have seen it, or they forgot about it, or they don't remember it. So we're all about repurposing. The funny thing is there's so many things to talk about. You don't even almost have to repurpose old stuff, but you can. So that's why you can really do 2 to 3 posts a day, because you can repurpose old content too.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are thinking that, once I post it one time, no one's ever going to want to see it again. Well, a lot of times, no one ever saw it in the first place. And then if you come back to it a few months later or just repurpose something about it, you'd be surprised. People all of a sudden, it's almost like when you have a house on the market and the first couple weeks go by, there's no offers. And then out of nowhere, the market shifts slightly and you get 4 offers on week 4, kind of like that. So,
Well, and you're catching people when they're ready too, as everybody on this call knows. Not everybody's ready. We're ready for them to be ready. So putting stuff out there on a regular basis, you'll catch them when they're ready, or encourage them to forward to somebody that is looking. So,
and just stay in
and
front
I'll
of.
tell you, yep, stay in front of them.
Go ahead. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, for anybody that's on this call, that wants to do like a little 30-minute chat, I love doing chats like that. So there's no obligation or anything like that. I'll talk strategy with you all day long, and just give you very specific customized things that you can do specifically. So if you want to, I just dropped my email in the chat, but just reach out to me. I'd love to do like a little 30-minute chat with you. It'd be fun.
And that's huge, everybody. Honestly, everybody I know who does this kind of role and in this type of position, and even though Steven is busy, I know he'll make time for people. That's usually going to be, a $300, $400, $500 conversation. So if anybody really does want to take him up on that, I really would, because I think you'll get a lot out of it, a little bit more personalization there. So, any other burning questions you guys have? Feel free to throw in the chat before we wrap up here. I want to make sure we're respecting everyone's time. We've been on about 45 minutes, which is pretty typical. And as I said at the beginning, this could be a 2-hour chat very easily, because I feel like, we've just kind of gone down the road a little bit, and we'll probably do something in the future, but it might be more like a podcast type vibe.
Absolutely.
Anyway. Okay. Well, hey, awesome. I mean, super fun to do this. We'll have to do it again.
We will. It's always good to see you.
Anything you want to say to everybody really quick? Last words?
Um, I know we said it earlier, but your audience really does want to hear from you. And I find that, I mean, we live deep in social media every single day. Um, and if you allow your competitors really to build that relationship with your audience, that's a shame. So don't let your audience build that relationship with your people. Post, begin to post. Again, it could be a picture, a video, or text, or whatever, but let people begin to experience you and pull back the curtain on your personality, because your audience really does want that, and that will grow. And if we're all in business to make money, you want your audience to grow, and knowing that your audience wants to hear from you is key, because they really do.
Cool. Huge, huge. All right, we are out of here, people. If you want to see more events, visit us at 6pmers.co. We'll see you sometime soon. Happy hour is next week. Of course, you'll probably see this recording at any point in the year. But February 6th is the next one. And we are out. Everybody have an awesome day. And hashtag, it's all about relationships. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.